I guess I
Well,
won't.
I don't remember the last time I had to stand in front of the class. I was probably in trouble.
But on 9/11, everyone probably knows what 9/11 is about now. The attack on the yeah. What about 9/11?
Two airplanes hit the Twin Towers, and then Twin Towers just blew down.
Yes.
What I remember about 9/11 was that the two airplanes hit the Twin Towers and the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember? I can't call you by names.
She said it.
She said it. Yes.
Osama bin Laden had controlled two planes to fly into the Twin Towers because he was planning a terrorist attack.
Anyone else? Yes.
Also, one of those hits, they also someone also the driver plane. Another one, they crashed. The plane crashed in Pennsylvania.
I think
And the driver of the plane passed away in the crash.
yes. Thank you for doing that. That's what I want you to remember is that it not only hit the Twin Towers, which in New York, it did hit the Pentagon in Virginia. And it did go, the passengers on the plane, because of our cell phones nowadays, knew that what they were doing. So Flight 93 in Pennsylvania, all the passengers took over the plane and then it crashed in a plane and it killed many people. They're willing to give their life. My son, he was in the Navy, went in the Navy at 30, graduated high school 18, went to University of Alaska, he was born and raised in Alaska. He went to the college up there, came home, and then had taken chemistry at the time. His dad said, I think Mom was trying to find a job without a career. And I said, he said, well, you can do what you want. He went to train with English writing to learn how to read classes and to write and all that. And then at 30 years old, he came home and told us he was going to go in the Navy. His dad had been in the Air Force, and he had tried to go in the Air Force, but the cutoff back then was 30 years old. No, he already turned 30, so, but the Navy took him. And then he got, he did so well in his school that he graduated distinguished military graduate. I'm pretty proud of him. And he had his pick of the summer. He chose a USSL. It was a ship over in Mediterranean. So it was stationed out of Italy. I talked like an Air Force one, but I wasn't Air Force one. I wasn't stationed. Maybe the station people. Air Force does. So. And at 33, he met an Afghani girl, got married, and then he became a dad later, a couple years later. And so he the Pentagon came available for assignment, and he wanted to be home with kids. So he picked the Pentagon. And he said, don't get your hopes up, Mom. I probably won't get it. So hard to get into the Pentagon. But he did. And then 9/11 happened. And so I became a Gold Star mom. And he's a Gold Star dad. So the Gold Star Mothers are our organization, but we do have the siblings, and fathers, and stepfathers, and grandmothers. They can join. So a lot of people think it's just mom. But no, it's grandmothers, siblings, which is sisters, brothers, and also dads. So there are 2 pins, and she's got them up there. The first pin I received was this one, called the Next of Kin pin. It's still a Gold Star pin, as you can see, Gold Star. It's called Next of Kin. That's for someone that has lost their life while serving the country, but they either were on leave, or maybe they were stateside. And but later, the President Bush, and the president does decide if it's an act of war, decided 9/11 was an act of war. So I received this pin, one with a purple background, and Donald also got a purple heart. You get a purple heart because you were killed in action. So both pins are equal. And there's two pins, and you'll see people wearing collar. We try and educate the people to know about this pin. Be surprised how many people don't know about the pin. Anything else you want to say?
Are you kidding? You'll be way ahead if you know about it. And that's great.
Any questions or? 'Cause we have other speakers. She's going to talk about the history of Blue Star Mother, the Murchison.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Ron was a funny guy too. He used to make everybody laugh. His office. Oh, I'm getting collared here.
There you go.
I didn't really. I wasn't gonna talk. Anyway, he was a funny kid. He just grew up. Always some joke or something. But he was very, very brilliant. He was very smart. Anyway, I'm not going to add anything to it. My sweet wife, I've been married to her for a lot of
You
years.
have a question.
There you go.
Yeah, ma'am. Did you?
I'm sorry.
What did your son do in the Pentagon?
He was an electronic technician. In other words, he worked on computers and electronics of all sorts. And that's what I did. I was an electronic engineer. And I worked at Sprint most recently. And he and I used to talk a lot, about the equipment and how things work. I talked to him for about an hour and a half the night before he died. And I said, Ron, you better go to bed. You'll never get up in the morning. So you got to be careful what you say and think about it later, And, you got a lot of loved ones, your dad, your mom, your siblings. And by the way, I'm a Gold Star mother. They gave me a Gold Star mother thing by accident. Anyway, it's a great bunch here. And thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Pretty handsome, huh? I think so. That's my son Matthew, and he was 21 when he was killed. He was in Iraq. He was an MP. How many people know what an MP is?
I know it's. I know what it is. It's like I forgot what MP stands for.
Okay. Anybody?
I think it might be working with planes.
Close. It's kind of closer to the ground. A what? No, not quite.
Military police.
Yes. Yes.
He was a military policeman, and when he informed us that he was going to join the Army, his dad and I looked at him and like, no, you're not joining the military. This isn't playing soldiers. This is a war. If you join the military, there's a good chance that you are going to go to Iraq. And he wanted to do it. It was in his blood. He had a passion to join the military. And so he was an adult. We couldn't say no, so we had to support him on this. And so he went to Germany first, which that's where they go and they learn a little bit more about what they're going to do in Iraq. And then on Thanksgiving Day of 2006, he called us from Kuwait to tell us that he was headed into Iraq. And he was only in Iraq for 8 months when he went on a convoy. Now, a convoy is kind of like a whole bunch of vehicles. and this one specific convoy was headed to Baghdad. Most of you have heard that word, that name. It's the capital of Iraq. Yeah? So they were headed to Baghdad bringing new vehicles to his base. And one of the Iraqi soldiers that they were training knew the whole entire mission. They knew where he was going, what road that they were all taking on, and set up it's kind of like a bomb on, it was called an EFP.
ID.
It is a type of an IED, yeah. But it was called an EFP, which, maybe you guys can look that up someday. But it was set up on a bridge. And when they went under the bridge, this Iraqi soldier just kind of pushed a little button that was to detonate this bomb. And it hit Matthew's vehicle. He was killed right away, which is a good thing, because he didn't feel anything, and that was my concern as a mom, as a parent. And just like Shirley and Bob said, that was the day I became a Gold Star mom. How a Gold Star person or a Gold Star mom came to be was back in the early 1900s. There was a soldier by the name of George Seabolt, and he wanted to join the military. And so he did, and shortly after he was in the military, and this was World War I, long time ago, his mom got news that he was killed. And he was killed in Europe, and the mom they never got some of the bodies, some of the people that died in World War I. Where they were killed was where they stayed. So battlefields just turned out to be where someone stayed. And the moms and the dads and the siblings all wanted to go and see their loved one's spot. And so the United States decided to send these moms to Europe to go see where their sons died. That coin or that medal was given to some of the moms, and it's called the Gold Star Pilgrimage. And the moms went on a ship, not like the ships we have, cruise ships now. It was a very old ship. And they went to Europe, and they got to see where their sons were buried. And one of the moms, George Seabolt's mom, decided that shortly after that she wanted to start an organization called the American Gold Star Moms. So 13 of the moms went to Washington, D.C. and started the American Gold Star Mom organization, which is what Shirley and Deb and I belong to. And Bob is a dad, so he's also a member, but an associate member. So that's why he kids you that he got the Gold Star Mom pin. So, what we do tomorrow, as far as laying the wreaths, is a very, very big deal to us because our kids are buried in a cemetery, and Ronald is got memorials all over the country. So when you lay your wreaths tomorrow, I know your teacher has told classes in the past, look at the name. Look at the name on that grave. And some of them you're not going to be able to read because they are graves from World War I, World War II. And, some of them the names are wearing off. That's my concern, is that someday maybe your children or your grandchildren will someday go lay a wreath, and maybe it'll be at my son's grave or Debbie's or Shirley and Bob's. and you won't be able to read the name anymore. It'll be all worn off, and people might have forgotten him by then. But you won't forget them, because you will put a wreath on their grave, and that will mean something to us, even though we might not be here. So kind of think of that when you lay those wreaths tomorrow. Know that you're doing a very, very, very wonderful thing for all the families that won't be able to do that. That won't be able to lay a wreath because they're already gone. So you guys are the future. You need to remember and honor and do what you can as Americans to help these families that don't have anybody lay wreaths at their graves. Okay? Anybody have any questions? Yes?
What was your son like in 5th grade? Was he a good student?
I'm not sure you really want to know that. Matthew, and that's a good point. Matthew was not good in school. He hated school. He absolutely hated school. He would do anything to cut school. He didn't want to go. His grades, he barely made it out of high school. Barely. And I don't know how he did it. But then whenever we got all of his stuff back from basic training when he went to school to learn how to become a military police, we went through his papers and his grades and his books were 98, 97, 95. And I looked at one of the soldiers that gave it to me and I go, this isn't my son's. This is the wrong paperwork. But he did well at what he wanted to do. So, just kind of an answer to your question. I always used to say to him, you need to work hard at everything you do. And even in 5th grade, you need to do that. Okay? Okay. I'm going to have...
Well, Sarah, you weren't here when we did
Oh.
our assembly, so
Aw.
that is from 5th grade to you.
Well, thank you. We all also brought some goodies for you.
I wasn't planning on telling them about
Well, I'm going to let her share. She needs to share, and if she doesn't share, you tell me tomorrow. Okay? Okay.
that. Your microphone.
Yeah.
She wants to keep it.
It's from all the
Well, hold on. Right. While your teacher's getting that set up, I'm going to take, if you don't mind, a quick photo. Oh, I may have to.
You want the light on?
No.
You might take one in this section, one in that section.
That's
Then
exactly what I'm doing.
I don't want anyone to get left out.
One thing I've realized, pictures are very important. 'Cause someday, we can just always look back and just give a smile on pictures. Well, my son Shane, he was, I'm just going to say he was honoring. He loved life. He lived life to the fullest. When he told me that he wanted to join the Army, it was after 9/11. I was scared. I was scared to death, but I had to be supportive of him, and I let him know that. I told him, I'm only going to tell you this once. I am scared to death, but I'm going to be supportive of you, because he did not need to worry about his mother being home crying every day for him. So I just decided to be proud and be supportive. He was in a tank patrolling a city called Rimani, Iraq, when he was killed. I got to talk to him the day before. It was a Saturday. He called me and we talked. That's when he told me he was patrolling the city in Iraq. It was the next day, Sunday, October 8th, 2006. It was the Chiefs game, halftime, so I went up, jumped in the shower real quick because I had to work that morning, so I jumped in the shower during the Chiefs game, and that's when 2 faces showed up at my front door with the words, "We regret to inform you." That's when I became a Gold Star mother. My life then, I knew was going to change, and it would never be the same. And I realized then, no matter how many tears I shed or how my heart hurt, the pain of my heart, nothing was going to bring him back. So it was up to me to carry on his legacy, and that's what I have decided to do. And that's when we became Gold Star mothers, and we do the wreaths across America. Not to just remember our individual sons, but to remember the World War II, the World War I, and we honor those. And by honoring those that are no longer here, we also honor those that are living, such as Bob. It's very important. Bob is a veteran. Sometimes a simple thank you to our veterans, you can see their faces light up. That's my story on how I became a Gold Star mom. And I can remember before that, I thought a Gold Star was nothing more than when you had 100% on your paper, you would get a Gold Star. That's what Gold Star meant to me until October 8th, 2006. You can see, these young men have families. These are his brothers, and all 3 of them together were extremely honoring. Let me tell you, my youngest son, Kyle, told me that when Shane was young, he would put on boots and go outside and play Army Men, which is something that I was unaware of. It was his dream. He lived his dream, and that's what I have to keep remembering. Wreaths Across America is important because kind of what Debbie said, when we're no longer here, it's just so great to see a class and a teacher educate the class and our younger generation to carry this on, and I hope that this is something that you guys will remember for the rest of your life. We also do what's called Honor Flight, to where we go to the airport and honor our World War II veterans when they come home from visiting their memorial in Washington, D.C. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to do that. If you do, I would highly suggest it. It's so awesome to see these men and women come home and get a welcome that they did not get when they were off to war. We like to go to our VA hospital and honor our veterans there, visit them at the hospital, or volunteer in a clothing closet. There's just no end to what we can do. And I do want to add that this is some great news that our chapter, one of the members, the Gold Star moms in our chapter, has taken over Leavenworth National as location coordinator. So we may be asking a lot more involvement in being able to participate in putting together programs throughout the whole year. Just FYI, heads up. So,
Awesome.
Yeah. Was there anything else I was supposed to say?
You tell them about why we wear white.
Oh yeah, I was.
Why you wear
Okay.
red.
We wear white. You see the when I have white and red on, Shirley wears white, and Debbie has red on today. White is, through history and through the organization, we wear white because it's of the purity of what our loved ones, of their loss. And the mom that originated was a nurse, and so and nurses wear white, and that's how the white originated. So like tomorrow we will all be in white.
And
we wear-
War II, they wore the bands.
Right. Well, I don't know enough
Okay.
to be exact.
And tell about
The red,
shirts.
and we wear red on Fridays until they all come home. It's in support of our military, and on the back, these are the American Gold Star Mother shirt, and it's just we wear red on Fridays until they all come home. It's just to show our support of our veterans. So I just want to thank the 5th grade class and Michelle and everyone that really just shows support, and it does help the healing process to see all the support that we get. It's really warming to our hearts. To let FYI, it means a lot. It brings tears, but they're tears of joy. Just to let you know. So, thank you very much.
There's a Christmas ornament.
That is for you.
Oh, for me? Well, thank you. That's so sweet. Wow, that's pretty.
That was designed by
That I
Gold
should
Star
say
Mother.
that wreath is something that our organization sells to to support Wreaths Across America, but
Oh.
but it's the national that sells it, so the proceeds go to Arlington Cemetery.
And they have a lot of wreaths, don't they?
Yes.
Well, thank you again, guys. We appreciate it.